Hey, what's up everyone? I'm Tom. So one of our favorite beds here at Sleep Foundation is the Nectar Mattress. It's an all foam bed that we love because it's supportive, great at pressure relief, and most importantly, super affordable. But as good as the Nectar Mattress is, it struggles in some ways. Let's say most all foam mattresses are gonna struggle. Which is to say, we think you're gonna love this bed, or find that it's actually not right for you. But if you're thinking about buying the Nectar, you kind of have to know what boxes you want to check in your mattress buying process. So let's talk about how the Nectar performed in our testing, who we think this is a good fit for, and specifically how it does or does not check some of those boxes. Well, in the last 20 to 25 years, we've seen a proliferation of all foam mattresses. Tempur-Pedic was kind of the pioneer in this category, and now you can get an all foam bed just about anywhere. And for good reason. All foam beds are affordable, they easily ship directly to your door, and they're great at isolating motion. And without question, Nectar is a player in this space. Nectar is part of a conglomerate called Resident Homes, which features brands like DreamCloud, Aurora, and more. And Resident just topped over $500 million in revenue a couple of years ago. So yeah, Nectar is a really popular but also a really accessible all foam option. Now we're taking a look at the Nectar, which is the company's flagship model, but you can also upgrade to the Nectar Premier or the Nectar Premier Copper. Those two other models add an inch or two more height. They also add some features to help the memory foam sleep a little bit cooler. And you can also get, if you're interested, each of these beds as a hybrid as well. But generally speaking, we think you're gonna be just fine on the entry-level Nectar. So let's take a look. All right, well, first up, the Nectar is rated about a 6 on our 10-point firmness scale. Now, we should point out that this number is a bit unique for this kind of bed, but we're gonna get to that in a second. This is an all foam bed, which means you're getting layers of foam on top of one another. The base of the bed is 7 inches of a dense poly foam. That's gonna be followed by a 3-inch transitional layer of poly foam that's just a little bit softer. And then the top layer is 2 inches of gel-infused memory foam. And then the whole bed is wrapped in a cover made from a blend of polyester, nylon, and polyethylene, which is gonna help you sleep just a little bit cooler. All right, so I mentioned the firmness rating earlier was about a 6 out of 10, and I mentioned that, that was unique for an all foam bed. Well, what do we mean by that? When you lay on a foam bed, that foam is engineered to absorb your body heat. And then when it does that, it's designed to soften so that it molds to your body. Now, if you're not careful, a bed made from memory foam can soften to the point that, well, it softens too much and it just doesn't support your body very well. Now, what our testing team found about the Nectar, it supported most side sleepers. The density of the foam layers did an excellent job of keeping this group of nearly all weights in a healthy, proper alignment. All right, so I mentioned that the Nectar is a great choice if it, checks the right boxes for you. So let's look at one of those boxes, pressure relief. One of the things all foam mattresses do really well is relieve pressure points. And on the Nectar, this is certainly the case. The Nectar does a great job of giving you a hug-like feel. That foam really does surround your joints and ease pressure. As you can see from our testing, we laid a pressure pad on the Nectar to determine where pressure points have the best chance of developing. For back and stomach sleepers, you can see that pressure was evenly distributed across the bed and made for very little pressure buildup, really in any one area. Side sleepers usually do experience some pressure in their shoulders and hips, which, of course makes sense. There's just much less surface area to absorb that pressure. But check this out. Our testing found that although some pressure did build up around the hips, it was pretty negligible around the shoulders. And when we compare that against results from other all foam beds, the Nectar performed even better. So if you're someone who needs pressure relief, maybe from sore or achy muscles, maybe you've experienced just chronic pain, you can expect the Nectar to be outstanding at pressure relief. Now, the second box, so to speak, that many people consider is how well a bed keeps you cool at night. I already kind of hinted this at the beginning, but when memory foam heats up, it softens in order to mold your body. That's one of the things people love about it. The result is that it hugs your body pretty closely, and when it comes to temperature control, it traps heat near your body. And as we performed testing on the Nectar, we found a couple of things. First, as you can see here, the Nectar doesn't heat up as much as typical all foam mattresses, and that's a good thing. It's a bit of a misnomer though. Foam mattresses, just in general, are gonna heat up a lot more than hybrid beds. The other thing we look at in our testing is how long it takes a bed to return to room temperature, which is a measurement of just how much a bed sort of holds on to the heat that it does absorb. And as you can see from this chart, it doesn't take as long as the average foam bed to return to room temperature. So generally speaking, if we're measuring the Nectar against comparable foam beds, it does quite well. It doesn't heat up as much initially, and it sort of gets rid of its heat a little quicker. If you love the feel and experience of a foam bed, but you're also someone who tends to sleep hot, the Nectar, I think, is gonna be a great choice. But again, when we're talking about temperature control, it's a low bar that we're trying to clear. So if sleeping cool is a really high priority, probably best to look for a hybrid. Of course, where the Nectar really excels is probably in this final box, which is motion isolation. So to test just how much motion is transferred across the surface of the bed, our team dropped a 25-pound kettlebell to determine how much vibration transferred across the surface. As you can see, the Nectar performed better than the average foam mattress. So that means if you're someone who's easily awoken by your partner's shifts throughout the night, you should be pretty well insulated. But we also test how much motion transfers during more subtle movements, like shifting positions in bed or getting in or out of bed. And here too, the Nectar performed about on par for most foam mattresses. But most importantly, it was head and shoulders above most of the best hybrid beds on the market. So if motion isolation is a priority for you, then the Nectar is excellent. Now, as I've been saying throughout, sleeping on a memory foam bed is a bit of a unique experience. You really do get this feeling of sleeping in the bed as it hugs and adapts to your body. But that leads us to a couple final results from our testing, an objective result and a subjective result. One of the final tests we run looks at edge support, and a strong edge can let you sleep or sit near the edge without feeling like you're gonna, roll right off. Our testing found that edge support was much weaker on the Nectar. When we compressed the edges, it collapsed more than other comparable foam mattresses on the market. So if you're someone who maybe struggles to get in or out of bed, maybe because you have some mobility issues, really do kind of keep that in mind. Speaking of mobility issues, foam mattresses tend to be a little harder to move around on, as we've been saying. You sink into the bed. So it takes a little more effort to shift from your back to your side or your side to your stomach, for example. So again, if you're someone who already has maybe some limited mobility, this could be an additional issue to consider. Well, with all that being said, we love the Nectar mattress. This is a standout among all foam beds, and if you can kind of get past foam's tendency to build up heat, it's gonna be a great choice. It performs really well in most of our testing, and the best part is the price. You can get a queen size Nectar for about $900, and you can probably pay even less if you use our discount code, which we have in the link below, or buy it during one of Nectar's many sales. So if you're thinking about an all foam mattress, this is a high quality, really top performing option. For more information on the Nectar, check out our in-depth review over at sleepfoundation.org. For more information on some of our other favorite beds, including our best mattresses of the year, check out our video on that right here. That's it for this one, everyone. Thank you for watching. Sleep well.